Where I'm confused, and obviously you know far more about the medicine than I do, but where I think we're all confused on this is even if there is, as you say, the tiniest chance, why would the child be denied a chance? But far more important than that, you say Great Ormond Street is there to advise. This is not advice the parents are being given. They're not being given... You see, where this seems to me completely to have gone wrong and got out of proportion is the professionals are there. You know, these parents are not stupid. There is nobody learns faster in the world than the parent of an ill child, and I can tell you that, being the parent of an ill child myself.
We've met them. They sat where you were sitting and had worked very hard on it.
You learn so fast when your child has got an illness, everything there is in the world to know about this illness. These parents are not stupid. Why are they not being advised and then allowed to take the decision themselves? But doctors do make mistakes. We know the case of Asher King. Yeah. The doctors were wrong and the parents were right.
So this is the case where Asher King was in a hospital in Southampton. He was... they wanted proton therapy in Prague. His parents had to sneak him out of the hospital. Then was an international manhunt. They were arrested, jailed eventually.
They were imprisoned for saving their child's life. You know, have we not learned from this?
But nearly 3 years later, his brain tumour has gone because they finally got him there to have the treatment, according to his dad, and the 7-year-old is back at school with his friends. Again, you've got to say...
You see...
that's what you want, a
I
miracle.
Have to say, you're an expert in the medical field. I'm an expert in my own children.
Yeah,
I have 5
absolutely.
children, and I know that. And our second daughter, sadly, has been ill over half her life. And I have seen doctors make mistake after mistake after mistake and make her more and more and more ill. And that is absolutely true. And I know now, you know, I listen to the experts. My husband and I weigh up what they have to say, and our daughter now, because she's a grown-up. But ultimately, if it's your life, you make the decision. Yeah. If it's a baby, your parents make the decision. It is wrong for other people to make that decision. You know, if this child suffers, who's going to suffer with him? Yeah. It's going to be his mother and his father. Yeah. It's not going to be the doctors. If this child ends up disabled and has to be cared for the rest of his life, it's not going to be the doctors doing the care. It's going to be the parents.
I completely get where you're coming from, but as a professional that has looked after terminally ill children in intensive care units, trust me, we become emotionally very attached as well. It's painful. Nowhere near as a parent.
Because you'd go mad.
It's unfair to say that we don't, because I think we do take some of that burden on board as well.
But it's a tiny amount. Yeah. You know, it's the parents that will, when this little boy dies, as sadly we all believe he probably will, it's the parents who are going to still be crying about him in 50 years' time, not the doctors. You know, I mean, you do a fantastic job. If you cared as much as a parent about every child you looked after, you'd be ill yourself. There's no way you could be a helpful doctor. So this is what puzzles me, is why the decision is being taken away from the 2 people who have more right than anybody else in the world to make
let's be honest, that's the court that has made that decision.
Right,
Great Ormond Street put forward their argument and said this is what we believe is best. The parents put forward their views, and it went to a court to make that decision, to have an objective decision. And they took the opinion of experts internationally, including the doctor that wanted to treat him, as well as the parental views and their counsel, as well as the medical professionals' views that are looking after him. The court, several courts, have upheld this decision. This is not Great Ormond Street saying, we want to do this. This is Great Ormond Street saying, this is our advice, this is what parents want. We now need to give it to a third party to make an objective decision.
President Trump has said, you know, we'll help in any way we can. Is that a helpful thing? You sort of expect Air Force One to fly over that's packed with medical equipment and get him safely over to America and he'll be treated over there. Is that just ridiculous?
I hope his intentions are for the best interest of Charlie. I think he's trying to score points politically, and actually I think he really needs to look at providing care to the millions of children in the USA who have preventable conditions that die every day. And unfortunately, potentially are having their healthcare taken away from them. That's a different issue altogether. But I think...
Fair point.
I think we need to...
But the other point against that, this is going to sound extremely brutal, but his parents are doing everything to save this child. At the point you made earlier, well, actually, I think it was you made earlier, even if this doesn't help Charlie at the end of the day, it will help, because we will learn more.
Is that fair? We have to ask ourselves, is it fair for us to experiment on Charlie for the sake of other children? We have to be very careful.
Charlie for the sake of other children, but you brought in other children, and will they be denied care? This will also have benefit for other children. That's not the purpose of the treatment at all whatsoever. No. The purpose is to give him a chance. Even if it's 1 chance in a million, it's to give him a chance, because that's what the parents want. But it will benefit other people.
It is a very, very difficult situation, and I think that we always have to bear in mind what the best thing for Charlie is. Keeping Charlie alive in itself is a big undertaking.
Do you not think the parents are thinking what is best for Charlie? Do you really not think that's the paramount? I mean, that is what parents do. They give their lives.